Welcome back to the next session of the Food Exchange System. This eating plan is recommended by Tops Club Incorporated. The exchange system is flexible to anyone. It helps keep you on your weight loss journey to a healthier lifestyle. The best part of the exchange system is you eat what you like. As a disclaimer, I am not an expert on the exchange system. Please talk to your doctor before starting any weight loss plan. So tonight we're going to talk about the sweets, desserts, and other carbohydrates, and also the combination foods. So the sweets, desserts, and other carbohydrates category is fairly new to the exchange groups. It includes many popular foods that are less nutritious because they contain added sugar and fats. If you are trying to lose weight, enjoy choices from this list in moderation. There's no recommendation for the certain amount of daily exchanges because they are higher in calories and low in nutrients. When tracking exchanges, you would include these foods as a carbohydrate or starch exchange. Remember, a starch exchange is 15 grams of carbohydrates and vary in protein, fat, and calories. Some foods in this list will also count a fat exchange in addition to the carbohydrate value. So examples are 1 cup of sports drinks, 3 tablespoons of barbecue sauce, or 1/3 cup of fat-free frozen yogurt. So you would look at this as a 1/2 cup of light ice cream is equal to 1 1/4 inch square brownie, which is the same as 5 Hershey Kisses. All right, so some of the examples or some of the foods in this group will include gravy, canned or bottled. A 1/2 cup is a 1/2 a carbohydrate and a 1/2 a fat. So if you look at cake frosted, a 2-inch square is 2 carbohydrates and 1 fat. Even unfrosted, a 2-inch square is 1 carbohydrate plus 1 fat. The different kind of pies that are on this list, you've got your commercially prepared fruit with 2 crusts is 3 carbs plus 2 fats, or you have your regular pies or custards, which is 1/8 of a pie. That's 1 1/2 carbs plus 1 1/2 fats. Okay, so as you can see here, the sports drink is 1 cup is 1 carb, compared to fruit juice or lemonade, which is 1 cup, is 2 carbohydrates. A yeast donut, glazed, 3 3/4 inches across, which is about 2 ounces, is considered 2 carbohydrates plus 2 fats. So looking on down, a 1/2 a cup serving of ice cream, based on the type it is you would have at least 1 carb and 1 or 2 fats. Granola bars, which are sometimes considered healthy, a 1 ounce bar is 1 1/2 carbohydrates, and even meal replacement bars are 1 1/2 carbohydrates to 2 carbohydrates and 0 to 1 fat. And you can see here that honey and jam and jelly, syrup, they're all, 1 to 2 tablespoons and 1 to 2 carbohydrates based on the type that you use. Okay, let's move on to the combination foods. The combination foods are not interchangeable. As the name implies, the combination food group includes dishes that contain a number of exchanges from different groups. So the nutrient makeup is different for each food. So let's think about pizza, casseroles, and frozen entrees. So you're looking at pizza, which is a quarter of a 12-inch pizza. You get the meat topping and the thin crust, which is 2 starches, 2 medium fat meats, and 1.5 fats. So if you have the thicker crust, you would add in a starch. So many prepared foods will list exchanges based on the package. So check it out the next time you are reading the labels. So this is an example of that you might see on a packaged food. So many frozen dinners and fast foods might be different as far as brand, but the combination list will give you a good estimate of the exchanges. So there's no examples of these foods, but the combination foods are not interchangeable the way foods are on the other list. So one taco is not the same as one slice of pizza or a bowl of soup. Each has different values based on its protein, carbohydrate, and fat content. Okay, so let's look. A small taco would be 1 starch exchange and 1 medium fat meat and 1.5 fats, while a cup of vegetable soup counts as 1 carbohydrate or starch. So the casseroles, if you have a casserole with meat, beans, or pasta, such as lasagna, some of the things you see here, chili, mac and cheese, they're counted as 2 carbohydrates and 2 medium fat meats, and possibly 1 to 2 fats based on the butter and oils that you use. And some of the salads listed here, you got potato salad with a 1/2 cup of potato salad, 1.5 to 2 starches, and 2 fat. This is for the number of potatoes. And the fats would be the mayonnaise or mustard, things like that that you put in there. Okay. So let's look at some of the other things that are included in the combination foods. And even when you make these foods at home, you can kind of go by this as an example. So if you make coleslaw at home, it's basically cabbage, mayonnaise, and carrots. It would be considered as 1 carbohydrate and 1.5 fats. So the casseroles here again, if you have meat and beans or pasta that's included, it's all 1 cup serving, 2 carbohydrates and 2 medium fat meats, which is going to be your protein exchange or the meat exchange. Okay. So some of the frozen meal entrees, you can see the dinner type meals are 14 to 17 ounces. They would be 3 carbohydrates, 2 medium fat meats, and 3 fats. So you have here pot pie. So you can look at your bean, that's different kind of soups, your bean, lentil, or split pea soup. The instant soup, tomato soup is only 1 carb, vegetable, beef, chicken noodle, or I do apologize, or other broth type soups, 1 cup is 1 carbohydrate. Okay, so let's look at some fast foods. They're considered combination foods as well because we already get them pre-made. So you can look at, the Egg McMuffin. So the Egg McMuffin is 2 starches, which would be the English muffin, and the 2 medium fat meats, which is the egg and cheese and the meat. So a grilled chicken sandwich would be 3 starches and 4 lean meats. And that's because one meat exchange is 1 ounce, and usually the piece of chicken that's on a sandwich is 1 to 4 ounces. Okay. So here's a list of some fast food items that you might get. We talked about the Egg McMuffin, and we talked about the grilled chicken salad. Now this is with no dressing and croutons. If you add salad dressing, of course that'll be counted as a fat. So you would have to add 1 fat here, or if you use mayonnaise, same thing. Or if you add croutons, that would be a half to 1 carb. Okay. If you like Asian food, here's some of the combinations for the different Asian foods. Egg rolls, 3 ounce egg roll is 1 carbohydrate, 1 meat, and 1 fat. And don't forget, when you're adding combinations, if you use any type of butter or oil or anything like that, you need to count the fat exchange. Milkshake. A 12-ounce milkshake is 6 carbohydrates. That is your your daily count of carbohydrates for a 1,500 calorie eating plan. So we just have to be careful and just check the foods when you go, especially when you're going out. Just check and make sure that what you are planning to eat is within your budget. So here goes. If you go to Subway and get just a regular 6-inch sub, that's 3.5 carbs, 2 medium fat meats, plus 1 fat. French fries, 3 carbs plus 3 fats, up to 5 carbs and 6 fats. So we just have to really be careful about, some of the fast foods that we use. But so when you're putting foods together, when you're cooking at home, pay attention what you're combining. So you don't want to have too many carbs in a single dish, or too much meat, protein, or fats in a single dish. So just pay attention to what kind of meats you put in there also. Are they lean? Are they fatty meats? But when you combine foods, count each ingredient that you put in there, and that will help you give you an estimate of the exchange that you want to count for the combination food, especially the casseroles. Let's see, yeah. So the casseroles, a lot of people have a hard time figuring out casseroles. So if it contains a meat, it counted as 2 medium fat meats, noodles, or starchy vegetables, you want to count as carbs. The vegetables you really don't have to count because, with it being a combination food, you may not get as much of one as the other. But so, just kind of work with it a little bit, and it'll get easier as time goes by as far as the combination foods. But just think about each ingredients that are in these foods. All right, that's all I have for tonight. The next segment will be putting all of this together and creating our own plate, and creating the eating plan that works for you. So join us next time, and thank you all for listening.